Be sure to let me know what deck you'd like to bump in the queue. Yeah, I agree. I think the fact that, like, this deck has Hurkyl's Recall and Paradoxical Outcome are both a big deal for it. Hey, A Felt, thank you for the brand new Twitch Prime subscription. I know there's a lot of great people making a lot of great stuff right now. Thanks for supporting mine this month. I assumed this deck was going to mulligan a lot, but this is rough. Alright, I mean, this is definitely a keep. We're going to bottom looking for a creature. For those of you that are not familiar with this archetype, what this deck is basically looking to do is it's looking to put Seram or Puresteel Paladin into play, and then chain through its deck, casting a bunch of copies of equipment. And then, once it does that, it eventually casts Grapeshot and kills the opponent. Hey, Ocean, thank you for the 2-month free subscription. I appreciate that. Welcome back. And look at that. We hit a thing. With only 2, we're not super likely to go off here, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm pretty sure we're not going to be able to go off, but we'll definitely loop through some cards here. Always yes, always yield. Yeah, yep. Oh, I guess I could have, oh, I should have equipped this, right? Because I can kill this with Collective Brutality now, so I messed up. I'm getting a new puppy today. Thank you for the 3-month free subscription. Welcome back. Definitely should have suited up my boy here. Killed my dork. Yeah, I assume we're gonna be dead here. Actually, it's interesting. We were talking about some of the changes this deck list had versus some of, like, the traditional builds of Cheerios. Not that there's really traditional builds of Cheerios, because yeah, I could have prevented that, right, by sliding all my equipments onto my dork. But the fact that we have a Paradoxical Outcome in our deck is a big deal. I'm gonna go ahead and just Grapeshot this, I think. I have a Noxious Revival to rebuy that. So I'd actually be in a pretty good spot if I'd have not, or like I'd be in a less bad spot if I'd have done this to my other guy and like still had a Paladin here. Because then like any Retract or Recall would be very good for us. Oh, I technically could have dealt one to them, right? Yeah. That's unfortunate. I'm gonna go ahead and pack it in at that one. It's just... I think if we kept this through the turn, we might have been able to be okay, but... yeah, if we would have found, like, a Recall next turn, we could have been okay. I mean, emptying my hand seems fine. Emptying my hand seems like a fine way to play around the Liliana. I like this. This plan is interesting. I wonder if this is actually good or not. I genuinely don't know if, like, this alternate creature plan is good against what the opponent's doing. I feel like the trims here are probably these Recalls and this Ascendant here. I appreciate it, Paula. Welcome. Thank you for the increased support. Yeah, we're basically on the suit up Geist and Smash. I'm pretty sure we're supposed to board in all 6 of these. I think we're probably supposed to trim a couple of other things. Maybe it's Sigil and then like these Serum Visions. The Serum Visions are kind of just filler. Some of these decks have played Monastery Mentor in the sideboard, historically speaking, but I don't know if it's actually good or not. I think this plan is really interesting with the Claim Fames and the Geist of St. Draft. The Geist of St. Draft especially seems particularly interesting. Splashing black for Claim to Fame seems slightly ambitious to me, but I understand the appeal of it. Oh yeah, I think I can do that now, actually. Apparently, I don't know how to activate it as a second overlay thing. That's annoying. Components can't overlap. All right, I think I have both activated now. This hand is great. Sorry about that. This hand is pretty reasonable until they play a turn 1 discard spell, but like we're definitely not mulliganing this hand, right? I assume the opponent's going to mulligan pretty aggressively for cards like that. What's going on, Bardic? Grab Hallowed Fountain with this one. Really? Okay, so they must have Fatal Push then, right? We're not playing this deck to not go for it, though. I'm going to grab the Godless Shrine here in case we draw Claim Fame. I wonder if it's possible if I'm supposed to wait on this just because, like, they're obviously telegraphing it. And, like, they might tap out for a 2-mana thing on 2. Yeah, maybe that's bad. Did Stream Decker end up in the middle of the stream? Okay, that is because they don't support... Alright, I'm gonna... Alright, is the Stream Decker refresh, and the Stream Decker should be back to normal, ideally. That's a good draw. So... I mean, it literally does, Bob. It literally supports 2 of them. That's what I just set up. Its Stream Decker doesn't look to be configured to play nicely with 2 of them being set up. Oh, you're saying Stream Decker doesn't... Or no, it's not Twitch doesn't support it. It's Stream Decker that doesn't support it. Time to spread some love. Thanks for keeping me entertained while I sit in the library. All right, let's move on. Turn 3 cards. I'm doing all right. I'm still a little bit sick this morning, but definitely at the tail end of it. Feeling much better than I was the other day and the day before. Oh, Stream Decker does, when you use the component, it does like this weird MTG Arena Hearthstone type overlay, right? I know what you're talking about now. Yeah, I know what you mean. Okay. I'll have to send them a message. I'm gonna be annoyed casting them. I'm gonna keep this hand because it's just like really good with a land. If I ever write an autobiography about my life, this current portion of my life where like the kids are going to daycare and stuff is definitely going to be titled Nobody or The Endless Plague or something like that. There's nothing to address. A giant man-child on the internet used another giant man-child on the internet to throw a hissy fit. It's really weird. Dark Steel Axe. Alright, so we're going to lead on Seram here, I think. I assume this is going to die. If we get a Mox Opal, we get to do a bunch of stuff. No Mox Opal past the turn. Sure, some kind of Tezzerator deck maybe. Yeah, at this point he's just like this petty tiny man that like makes money off of trying to generate hate towards people. I did not watch much of the Grand Prix. I caught little bits of it, but it kept going on and offline. Bardic, your icon is back, it looks like. You might need to refresh and send it through. To send the message through. That one's only my second spell, right? So I should play... Should I play this Erayo? No, I don't think so. I think I'm just going to cast the Retract. I'm going to grab a Hallowed Fountain here before we start drawing cards. So normally, fetching to thin your deck isn't statistically significant, but in a deck like this where you're drawing a significant portion of your deck each game, the thinning does end up being relevant. So it's definitely worth doing. Don't you worry, we're going to play some Gristle Pigs today for sure. Storm count is 8, and we actually already have lethal, right? Because I have this Mox Opal. I just gotta go ahead and cast all this stuff. Or since I already have the Grapeshot, I mean. So they're dead. So we use the Mox Opal to retract all of our stuff, and then we keep casting stuff, and when the storm gets lethal, we kill them. A couple of years ago, I was a jerk to you over Twitter and when I started the hashtag. I'm happy you didn't listen to me and you're creating all the content. Well, thank you for the support now, Zanman. Bardic, thank you for the 13 months with the tier 2 resub. Be sure to drop me a message in private. Let me know what deck you'd like to add to the queue this, or what deck you'd like to bump in the queue this month with that. As always, people that use the tier 2 and tier 3 subs get to bump decks in the queue. I appreciate the support. And to be honest, Zanman, I have definitely grown and changed as both a person and a content creator. I wasn't always the most pleasant person when I first started making Magic content. I was not, believe it or not, going through college and just like not interfacing with, there really aren't things that like train you for like interacting with people on social media as like a pseudo public figure. Well, we had a couple of donations there actually. But hey Jeff, I'm a big fan of your content. Just wanted to know I let you finish foiling Lantern Control today and we'll be hunting you down at upcoming indie to sign the shiny lanterns. I would be happy to, Almighty Lantern. Rick, Liliana is no longer bugged. Keep doing what you do. Bump Green Devotion. 10 out of 10. Thank you for the support and letting me know that that was fixed. So when I was definitely starting out making Magic content, I think a lot of us grew up in this like really kind of terrible culture. Like I grew up playing a lot of first-person shooter games, and in the online culture that those games cultivate, they teach you to, or the way people react and then you get used to reacting is that people who are jerks to you, you knee-jerk and are just rude back to them, right? And I carried that mindset over into how I treated people with Magic stuff. So there are definitely, and this is not everyone, but there's a lot of people that are very hostile to new people with new ideas, or they want to tell them that their ideas are bad. And I knee-jerked the way I was used to jerking from playing first-person shooter games and was just immediately hostile back to these people. And when people are rude and then you're rude back, other people look in on that and go, man, this person's not very nice. They're being mean to mean people. And it doesn't matter if other people are mean. Yeah, they definitely should have taken my Serum Visions. Serum Visions was the reason I kept the hand, if we're being honest. It's my way to try and dig into one of my 8 creatures. It's possible that against an interactive deck, I'm just like automatically supposed to like board in Geist and these Claim Fames, but I kind of feel like I don't really know what they're doing, so I wanted to just stay true to our Game 1 plan. If I come to SCG Indie, will you sign my foil Cat Jesus? Definitely. I'm always happy to damage property with Sharpies. Find me at a tournament when I'm not playing. Well, actually, it's funny. They probably thought it was a good draw. They probably took the Recall because Recall's actually good against their deck, right? Because they're like a Thopter Sword deck. Yeah, and I mean, like, there's definitely, like, people have talked about things like this before. Like, you take a mostly normal person and, like, you give them anonymity and you give them an audience, and then those people turn into, like, foaming people that attack at foaming at the mouth people. Like, basically, people temper, or the evil that men do lives on and on, but Hoaglandia will never fall. Thank you for the bits, Heroic Spirit. I really feel like people, they have a filter when they know that people are going to know that they're the one saying something, right? And like when you mix in anonymity with that, there's people that they lose that filter, and basically you basically see their true form, right? Like when you let someone have a pulpit to spew from, and there's no repercussions for the spewing that they're doing, that's who that person really is, right? Like the people that people pretend to be in public, to pretending to be nice, basically, like that's not who that person is. Who that person is the hateful things that they're willing to say when there's no repercussion for the hateful things that they're saying. Like that's really, like, that's basically like pulling off the mask, is effectively what it is in my mind. Like, if you are only nice and polite to people in public, but you're like completely rude and an asshole in private when you have no repercussions for your actions, you're actually just rude. Like, I don't care if you can pretend to be nice when you're with other people and like there's repercussions for what you're doing. Like, you aren't a genuinely nice person if you don't want to be nice all of the time. I feel like I probably should just automatically board in the Claim Fames and the Geist of St. Traps against everybody that could have Fatal Pushes and discard. It's also possible I should just Hurkyl's Recall them. But nobody is nice all of the time. I mean, a lot of people are decent human beings all the time. It's like when people talk about like a public figure like doing something offensive or racist on like in the spur of the moment. It's like, well, no, that person said something offensive and racist in the moment because they're offensive and a racist. Like, they're probably offensive and a racist in their private life constantly. They just, when they're on in public, they know to temper and moderate themselves because they know they will be rightfully shunned for being a racist. But like, it's really easy to not accidentally be a racist by just not being one. Like, if you do those things in private, you're going to eventually do them in public because that's who you are. This is as short as my boss would let me cut my hair. Otherwise, I'd attempt to shave my head at least once. I'm a good boy that just does what he's told. Yeah, actually, speaking of accidentally being a racist in public, accidentally. Guess what? Old Papa John, he's probably a racist all the time. Probably a racist all the time. According to what I read on Twitter today, the CEO of Papa John's used a racial slur while on a conference call, which, you know, again, you can't like accidentally do that. That just, if those words aren't in your vocabulary, you won't use them. But if you use it by accident, you're using it because it's in your vocabulary. All right, so I think we're supposed to actually, they have a lot of blockers here, right? Maybe this isn't a Geist of St. Trap matchup, but it is a Claim Fame matchup. I think this is a Claim Fame matchup, but it's not a Geist matchup because they have blockers. Former CEO, I have no idea. That's why I said I claim. Don't you think there is a difference between what you say in-game and who you really are? I mean, trash talk? No, I think the types of things you're willing to say to people, like, here's actually, this is a really good example of something that, like, people used to do that we just don't do anymore because guess what? We realized it's a terrible thing to say and you shouldn't say it. Did anybody else grow up in a culture of referring to we raped the other team or things in that nature? Like, we don't use that vocabulary anymore because it's cruel and it's rude and it trivializes something that's really terrible, right? So, like, I remember growing up and I remember saying that as an idiot teenager because that's what people in the other games said. And that's not something we thankfully really hear anymore. Because we realize as a society, as we grow and evolve, that like, that's not something we should say. That's a really terrible thing that happens to people that they experience that we shouldn't relate to a video game or a card game. Like it's really terrible and there's a reason we don't say it anymore. Correct. People that want to change can change. They can have understanding and through empathy realize that things they used to do as a kid, things that they were conditioned and cultured were okay. They can look at them critically and go, that's probably not actually okay, and I shouldn't do or say that. I'm actually going to play this Mox Opal on one because I don't want them to take it with a discard spell. Alias, thank you for the raid. Welcome to folks coming over from that channel. Hanging out, playing some Modern this morning, starting off with some Cheerios. And this is a good take on their part. We only have one piece of equipment here, so taking the equipment makes sense. I'm going to go ahead and play these creatures out just because I have multiple. I'm going to play the Puresteel Paladin before the Seram because I'd rather this one be in play instead of this one because Seram is legendary. So I can't play a second Seram out, but I can play a second Puresteel Paladin out. And Soul Artifact. Yep, that's a pretty quick clock. I kind of assumed this was something they were doing when we saw Darksteel Relic last game. Get him. Let's race back. Grizzly Bear beatdown. Yeah, definitely, McFats. I recall vividly doing that too, using the word gay as an insult. But as you educate yourself and you break out of that shell of people where you're surrounded with that do things like that, you realize, oh, if you're a good person, you realize, oh, this isn't okay and I shouldn't do this. Well, the good news is we have chump blockers for a little bit, but hopefully we draw a piece of equipment here soon. And people definitely are a product of the culture that they're like, you know, they're raised in. Like, you know, the views that I had were projected on me from my family and the people that I associated with. And especially, I think that's why it's really important. One of the important things that happens, like, you know, when people go to high school and college, they start interfacing with these people in the greater world that are different, have different viewpoints from the people that they grew up with. It can give them a very different view on society and the people contained within it. All right, so do I fetch shock here? I feel like I'm supposed to fetch shock here. With 3 of these dorks, we should be in a pretty good spot here. Maybe I should have put this other one into play, although I guess I have these retracts, so we should be pretty well off. I don't want to deck, although I guess Puresteel Paladin's a May. That's a little brutal. I'm glad I have a bunch of retracts here. I believe we have lethal. Yeah, we have deterministic lethal at this point, right? Although I probably want to go over by a little bit, just in case they have something funky. Although I have the Noxious Revival, so we should be okay. You consider black-green Shrine strictly inferior to mono-green. I think strictly is a strong term, but I do, in general, think I favor playing black or mono-green as opposed to black-green just because of the consistency you gain from the mana base. I think the consistency you gain from the mana base is a pretty big deal. Attack to send a message. Opponent concedes. All right, sweet. 1-1. Lost to one of those Jund fun policers. Match 1. Beat what I'm assuming is maybe a Tezzerator brew of sorts. They had scissors and the Darksteel relic. I bet there were Agent of Bolas hiding in there. When you say racist, do you mean someone who discriminates and or someone who makes jokes? Well, if you make a racist joke, you're probably at okay. Let's make a definition here. If smart people can do stupid things, doing a stupid thing does not make you stupid. But if you do you can still be smart and do a stupid thing. Making a racist joke is committing a racist action, right? You might not be a racist all the time, but guess what? If you make racist jokes all the time, you're probably a racist, right? Like, there's no reason to make jokes at the expense of someone based on where they were born or what the color of their skin is. There are plenty of jokes you can make and have fun and laugh that aren't at the cost of the color of someone's skin. And there's varying degrees of things, right, too, right? Like, I'm not saying that not everybody who's a racist is racist to the part where they want to kill everyone that's different than them. But you can commit racist acts without going to that extreme. Just, you know, have a little bit of empathy. Have a little bit of put yourself inside someone else's skin and their shoes and think about how what you're doing could make them feel. How you're belittling someone because they look different than you or were born in a different place than you. Yes, that's a good way to put it. Racist jokes contribute to normalizing racism in society, so making racist jokes is racist. Yep. I assume our Puresteel Paladin's gonna eat it next turn, but I'm definitely not playing this deck to not go for it, so we're gonna fetch a Hallowed Fountain here and start drawing cards. Hopefully start drawing cards. Holy gosh, they're auto-passing. Alright, so we're looking for a Retract here. If we draw a Retract, we should be able to kill them. We should be a strong favorite to kill them. Oh, baby. Strong favorite to kill them has been declared. Let's see if I'm correct or not. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Draw me cards, baby. Give me the cards. Look at this. Look at this turn 4 format, chat. They got 2 turns. I got 2 turns. What a fair and balanced format. It is a turn 4 format. We each got 2 turns. 2 plus 2 is 4. Come on now. Whew. Could you imagine if they would have cast Stoneforge Mystic this turn? We'd have been in such trouble. The Noxious, yeah, they've had enough. They've had enough. We should I should just title this league like Stoneforge Mystic is too good for Modern. I think against any Black Cleave Cliff decks, I'm just supposed to board into this plan. We talked yesterday about swapping my tier sub for Endless Cannon, Horizon Cannon, Alcohol, Horizon Cannon. It's definitely in there. Oh, it's big. I called it Big Tef's Cannon because that's what we were calling it. It's line 27 at the moment in the queue. I think we're supposed to bring these in. I probably want to trim Recall and Erayo. Excuse me. Well, I'm assuming that my opponent is not playing Hallowed One because they didn't make any plays for the first 2 turns of the game. If my opponent's playing Hallowed One, they kept an exceptionally bad hand. So I'm assuming there's something on they're playing something more mid-range or controlling. And I think I want to board Geist in. I guess maybe this is only for Jeskai control. I could see that. Just boarding Gear Up here. Aether Grid is this last one. Maybe this is better. What do we think of this? I kind of like this. What do we think of this one? I am doing social media. I should stop responding to these people. They're just a bunch of and this is something that's absurd to me too. I'm gonna submit really quick before I miss it. You can follow me on Twitter for all the Jeff does social media. The amount of people that think blood is thicker than water and you should stand by people that are related to you regardless of the things that they do is absurd to me. Just like, sorry, if someone in my family is human scum and doesn't want to change or stop being human scum, I don't want to associate with them. And that's my decision as an adult with a brain. I assume they were taking the Paladin there. Isn't blood's thicker than what? Do I not understand what that's supposed to refer to? I thought blood's thicker than water refers to the fact that, like, blood is more important than anything else. I completely... Oh, I'm right. I thought blood's thicker than water. I always use blood's thicker than water in the context to say that your blood relatives are more important than anything else. Yeah, that's what I thought the intention behind it was. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and play out this Godless Shrine. It's like a rite of passage in a way, right? Like, I've decided to be decent to other people. So I've decided to publicly say we should be decent to other people. So that means people who don't want to be publicly decent to other people are gonna let me know that I've done something wrong. I actually didn't. I thought it meant the inverse of that, AJ Valentine. What you saying that is literally the first time I've ever heard someone imply that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the way we use blood's thicker than water in society today is to imply that family is more important than anything else. At least that's the way I've always heard it used. I've actually never heard the water of the womb part of it or anything like that. That is definitely new to me. The context that I've always heard it used in is to imply that family is more important than anything else. Google says it means family is the most important thing. Yeah, that's always the context I've always understood it to mean. Well, I'm not quite sure what they were doing, but we beat double discard spell that game, so let's go. Yep, definitely here, Tick. I agree. It seems pretty good. It's a little bit land heavy, but like, it's pretty hard to mulligan lands plus Puresteel Paladin or creature. Oh no! Birds of Paradise! How can we ever win the game now, chat? They've played the incredibly unfair Birds of Paradise. We'll never be able to win now. Oh no. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and play this, and I'm gonna Serum Visions first, I think. Do I want to Serum Visions first? I think I want to Sigil, actually. Because if we draw Retract, I want to be able to cast it. Alright, that's a little sad. Alright, there's the Retract and the Spidersilk Net. So, if they don't have a removal spell next turn, we should be able to kill them. It's really unfortunate. They got a second turn. We're very unlucky. I would love to sign Birds of Paradise. Oh no! Just don't have Path to Exile and we'll be okay. Alrighty, let's do it. Let's do it. I was a gracious and merciful Overlord opponent, and I gave you a second turn. I was a gracious and benevolent Overlord and gave you a second turn. I hope you enjoyed it. Oh no! Oh no! We might brick and die after my gloating. That's fine. If we brick and die here, we can Grapeshot their board. Looking for a recall or a PO or a retract. We did in fact brick and die, chat. By brick, we didn't actually die, but we did brick. Alright, so let's get our Grapeshot on here. Yep, we're going to equip a bunch of things here. We get to disrupt their board too, which is nice. Oh, you know, I should have pointed this at their face, so I could have clicked same targets. I can't actually flip Erayo because by the time I had drawn the Erayo, I'd already played 4 cards. So Erayo only flips when you cast exactly your 4th spell of the turn. It's not your 4th or later. So I'm actually going to hold this for next turn, I think. I want to put my other Paladin into play. All right, let's this is probably gonna be my last interaction here. You usually should stop interacting when they use virtue signaling, but I'm gonna respond one more time. Promoting how pure of a person you are. Nowhere have I ever said that I am a pure or perfect person. What I have said constantly is that I try to be better and try to respect others. People who are not Shouldn't you have played Paladin before Grapeshotting? Yeah, I missed 1 point of my Grapeshot. These people are the worst. Yes, and welcome to 2018 where being nice is controversial. Like, basically what these people do is they try to send the message that, like, if you're not perfect, you can't suggest we try to improve as people. And it's just like, well, that's just absurd. Obviously nobody is perfect, myself included. What I can, however, do is try to be better and expect others to try and be better as well. Nobody is ever going to be perfect. That's an unrealistic goal. However, expecting people to try and be better is a very realistic goal. All right, I'm a liar. One more time, and I'm probably going to close Twitter. You seem to be defining anyone who disagrees with you politically as racist and sexist. No, I define people who belittle. Hey, thank you for the 2-month resubscription, Dire DigiTechWire. I define people who belittle others based on their race or gender as sexist and racist. Because that is what those words mean. I am using them. People who belittle others as based on their race and gender as sexist and racist, because that is what those words mean. God, people, we drew another land. That's unfortunate. We could die next turn. I've seen the OD. They really aren't worth my time. They basically, it's funny, they're so desperate to be able to, like, be racist and offensive that, like, they don't see that they're racist and sexist. How many lands do we have in our deck? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, I assume we're dead here. And remember, the opponent's deck is a 3-card combo deck, so I'm going to make them show us the other payoff here. They don't always have it. Do you have a Court of Calling? You should have led on the Court of Calling. Okay. I would have conceded to the Court of Calling. I apologize, but after I watched what's-his-name videos, I blew up and posted a long rant in his comment sections. Yeah. Yep. And we definitely have leaders in our country, and I'm not going to be specific. You can pick out the ones who basically work to normalize being racist and sexist. Basically, they work to, when it's normalized and you see people in power doing it, you're like, let's not. I've seen the YouTube hit piece, and I don't believe your kids drew on the wall. I believe it was you, and all I can say is I'm offended you didn't show us the art sooner. What keyboard do you have? I have a $10 USB keyboard that's an HP, I think. I think it's an HP. Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one. That's exactly what I wanted for Christmas, chat. This is great too. We're looking for more artifacts, so I got to draw the creature and then I got to double bottom non-equipments here. Sweet. And they could have a Path to Exile. If they have a Path to Exile, I'm going to be a little bit sad that I bought him Saram, but... And we're not super likely to kill them here, but we definitely could if we run really hot. Alright, we did not run really hot, but good news is we're going to get another turn. Ooh. Found a piece of candy, chat. Found a piece of candy. That's a yummy piece of candy. The recalls in this deck are great, by the way. The recalls in this deck are absurd. Oh, look at that. Did you want to cast spells? Be a damn... Oh, geez, we hit the Retract, too. Yeah, I should equip the Paradise Mantle, probably. And float mana and stuff. Sorry, I was excited. This is good stuff. Alright, so I'm going to make a blue... Make blue here. I'm going to float white, so that way if I draw another Mox, I can cast this other Puresteel Paladin. Antiquities War is actually really interesting. That could possibly be very good. Should I play this other Paladin out? I think I am, actually. I'm going to play this other Paladin out. I think I should have done this just... I missed 2 draws here. I think I missed 2 draws here. We'll see if we get punished. I think I definitely should have... I think I definitely should have played that Paladin before I started playing more things out. Let's see if we can run a little bit hot here. We'll be okay. Am I going to be at PT Atlanta or GP Atlanta this fall? No, I don't really play in WotC events. They're just too expensive for what they are. The few events I get out to are generally SCG events. Just because they're similar to any other large Magic tournament, but they give me more bang for my buck. We're looking for a Retract here. We could brick off. That's a little unfortunate. Looking for a Retract. Bottom, top. We did at least hit equipment into equipment here. That's a Noxious Revival. So now I can Noxious Revival my Retract. And I get to go ahead and play this and draw the Retract. And this should lock up deterministic lethal at this point. Yeah, because I can draw my whole deck out at this point. So I just need to draw my Grapeshot and my Need to draw my Grapeshot and my other Mox Opal. So we have Lethal Storm. We just need Grapeshot and Mox Opal, and I could draw my entire deck. Jonas Papes, thank you very much for the brand new Twitch Prime support. I appreciate it. Welcome. There's a lot of great people making a lot of great stuff on Twitch right now. Thanks for supporting mine this month with that. Found the Grapeshot, just looking for our 4th Mox Opal. Yep, I am definitely going to be at the Indie Open. Barring any family emergencies or health issues, I will be there. So, it's on my schedule. I have booked a hotel. This is Summoning Sick, chat. So I cannot... I've already used... There's only one Noxious Revival. So I need to draw my last Opal. I don't have a blue mana, chat. I don't have a blue mana. There's my other Mox Opal, so let's not mess this up. So float mana here. How do you sleep after playing this deck? Look, you should never feel bad for playing a busted Magic deck. It is not your fault as the player that the deck is busted. It is Wizards of the Coast's fault for letting the deck be legal. Wanted to ask, what got you decided to go to Vegas for a tournament? I just like to get out to different places in the country on occasion, and Vegas is really cheap to get to. How do you sleep at night? On a Lisa mattress. You're right. I missed the shill. I missed the shill, Marty. I feel bad. I missed the plug. I could have... My shill game was not on point there. All right, this is the most important part of Hogland Does social media. You see these? You see these wankers? Mute. Mute. That's the best way to do it. Mute. Oh, I didn't want to mute the whole conversation, just this idiot. Mute and block functions are critical. Can I keep this hand? I kind of want to keep this hand. Watching a video from a few months ago where you said Turbo Depths is a good budget legacy deck. Yeah, the non-budget legacy decks are like $4,000. So $2,000 is a steal. Hey, Marty, feel free to permanently ban both of those people. Don't time them out. Yeah, this hand seems pretty good. I'm going to keep this with a Scry, with a Serum Visions on the draw. Oh, is that a good one, chat? How do we feel about that one? How do we feel about that one? I'm going to bottom both of these. We're just looking for Mox Opals at this point. All right, let's see if they have a path here. Grapeshot is how you win the game. There's one Grapeshot. You have 4 shots at a Mox Opal. Any equipments are redraws. I mean, I think this hand was a genuinely good keep. Oh, yeah. Give me that Mox Opal, baby. Give me that Mox Opal, baby. Look at that. What a sweet turn 4 format. They took 2 turns. We took 2 turns. What just good, clean, interactive Magic the Gathering. You think it was fun for them? I hope it was fun for them. They're actually just deterministically dead. I'm going to draw some extra cards. Look, if they're not going to concede, I'm just going to sit here and draw cards, okay? Listen, chat, Well, if you think this is unfair, you just need to close your eyes, take a deep breath, and repeat these small phrases. Stoneforge Mystic is too good for Modern. Stoneforge Mystic is too good for Modern. Burning Piggy, so glad to send you money. The world needs more people who can think objectively and be a decent person. Thank you for the 7-month resubscription, Burning Piggy. I appreciate it. Welcome, welcome, welcome back. Yeah, I mean, could you imagine if they would have cast Stoneforge Mystic on their turn 2 here? How would I ever possibly have won the game? How would I ever possibly have won the game? So they need, like, they need Mindbreak Trap here to not be dead. Woo! Woo! Alright, we're 3-1. We lost to Jund. Jund's probably a hard matchup for this deck. Just moving right along. I still had 12 minutes to draw cards, right? Hope everybody's enjoying a little bit of breakfast cereal here. Hanging out, playing some Modern. Going to do a little bit longer stream than normal today because I had to sign off early yesterday due to some moto issues. Can I keep this? I think I'm going to keep this. I feel like any hand with land creature equipment has to be a keep. I think this is definitely the low end of keepable, but I think this is a keep. Just Howie with the brand new tier 1 sub. Thank you very much and welcome back. I do appreciate that. Thank you for the support. Thanks for keeping me employed here. What do I think of this deck versus Jeskai Ascendancy combo? I think Jeskai Ascendancy combo is probably a little bit more consistent and better at playing through disruption, but this deck's definitely faster and more volatile. So that was not the equipment we were hoping to draw here. I'm pretty sure it's impossible for us to go off this turn, and that brick means that we definitely won't, but I think this hand was okay to keep. Like I said, I don't think it was amazing, but I think it was definitely in our range of keepable hands. Playing Ponza. Peace, Twizzle. Oh, they killed my dork. That's sad. Gross. Our medium minus hand has not come together. Do you have a list for JAC? I'm new and you keep talking about it. You can find a full primer on Jeskai Ascendancy combo in my articles on Gathering Magic here. I mean, how do I beware sideboard Trinispheres? Am I going to, like, board in a way to, like, make them worse against us? Like, we're just going to try and kill them before they have Trinisphere? I've not, Captain. I feel like that's probably too cute. I feel like every card in your deck that's not, like, more equipments to play through comes at a real cost. Yep, yeah, price memory is a real thing. The fact that when cards get expensive that they stay expensive is really annoying. So I can actually flip the Erayo next turn. But that doesn't really accomplish much on this board. Well, outside of reprints, reprints bring the prices of cards down by a small amount on occasion. But generally speaking, card prices don't come down naturally, even if there isn't demand for them. I think this is the first time I've ever paid 3 mana to equip an 8-core shield, but here we are. Yep, basically Dizzy Drone. Pro tip, you can watch YouTube videos on 2x speed, and that's lethal, right? Yeah, if they hadn't hit Kessig there, we could have potentially been okay, but with them hitting Kessig, we definitely don't have anything we can do. I think I'm going to board out PO and something else and bring in these Echoing Truths. Maybe the Ascendant seems fine. Yeah, let's do that. Just so we can have a way to bounce Trinisphere off the table if they play it. Easy mulligan here. This hand needs a land, but it gets a scry. Bottom that. We're going to crack a fetch land anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Yeah, I tend to play a little bit faster than most people that make Magic content. I've definitely had other people comment too that they watch other Magic content producers at 2x and 3x speed a lot of the time, but they can stand to watch my content at 1x a lot of the time. When my streams are going slowly, it's because my opponents are playing slowly, and we died, so. And again, like, we could sit here and, like, try and draw lands for the next 2 turns, but I think we're better off just, like, moving on with our lives, right? I'm like a 4 out of 10 today with, like, 6 or 7 out of 10 being average. I'm still a little bit congested, but my throat is no longer sore. Cheerios. This build of Cheerios is really interesting. I really like the inclusion of Hurkyl's Recall in this deck. I feel like Retract is often the best card in this archetype, so having more virtual copies of that seems really reasonable. I actually really like the idea of this Erayo in this deck as well. I think this card acts as like a neat 9th Puresteel Paladin SRAM effect, because if you can play and flip this card, I'm going to be able to lock a lot of people out of the game. The PO is interesting. We never actually got to cast the PO, but I feel like it's definitely worth trying in here. We didn't really get to execute the Claim Fame or Geist sideboard plan, but I kind of like this playing through the disruption and removal as opposed to doing stuff like Leyline of Sanctity where your creatures still just die. We got a 3-2 with the deck, and the deck's a lot of fun, so I think if you are interested in playing the Cheerios archetype, I would highly recommend trying the configuration changes that this one has as opposed to the more standard list. Although, again, this is kind of a tier 2 fringe deck, so there isn't really a commonly accepted list. Yeah, I think 2 mana versus 3 mana is a big deal. Getting something going on turn 2 as opposed to turn 3 is really relevant in Modern. What do you think of Spellskite in this deck? I think Spellskite is probably worse than Claim to Fame on average. I think Spellskite's probably worse than Claim to Fame. I'd rather just, like, bring my guy back. Yeah, if there's no Leonin Arbiter, I'd probably play a Texas deck. All right. What are we doing?